This is TWiT.
I love this next story, by the way.
Oh, my God, yes. It's such a great story. So 5 months after returning his rental car, the brief renter of the car still has full remote control. He can track the vehicle remotely, lock and unlock it, and start and stop its engine. So the story is that when Masamba Sinclair rented a Ford Expedition from Enterprise last May, he was excited to connect it to connect with its Ford Pass. The Ford Pass app allows drivers to use their phones to remotely start and stop the engine, lock and unlock the doors, and track the vehicle's precise location. What could possibly go wrong? So he's 34 years old, and he told the people, I think it was ours who was doing the reporting on this, he said, I enjoyed it and logged into Ford Pass to be able to access vehicle features from my phone, such as locking and unlocking and starting the engine. I liked the idea of it more than I found it useful. He says, the UI looks good and works well. So today, Sinclair's opinion of mobile apps and rental cars is decidedly less favorable. That's because 5 months after he returned the vehicle on May 31st, his app continues to have control over the car, despite multiple other people having since rented the SUV in the intervening months. Ford Pass still allows Sinclair to track the location of the vehicle, lock and unlock it, start and stop its engine. Sinclair has brought the matter to Ford's attention, both through its website and multiple times on Twitter. So far, Ford has done nothing to end his access. He said, all it took for me to initially connect was to download the app and enter the VIN, that's, the VIN number on the engine. Then, he says, then confirming connectivity through the infotainment system. There might be a way to disassociate my phone from the car itself, he says, but that hasn't happened yet. And it's crazy to put the onus on renters to have to do that anyway. He says, I have had no problems at all and have even unlocked the doors and started the engine when I could see that the vehicle was at the Missoula Airport rental parking lot. Wow. So we have in the show notes 3 of his tweets. The first on June 4th, he says to @Ford, he says, I can still track and unlock the Expedition that I rented last week via the Ford Pass app. Huge safety concern for all future renters. I submitted a solution via Ford New Ideas. Yeah, there's a new idea to solve this, and it was denied. This needs to be fixed, he has in all caps, and then he posts a pic. The next day, he tweets, it's day 5 since I returned my rental, and now someone else has rented it out. Do I need to start remotely unlocking it until they also start to complain? Please fix this! ! And looks like a week later, June 14th, I returned this car. He's tweeting to Ford. I returned this car 2 weeks ago, and you've shown no willingness to allow rental companies to remove my access to unlock it and start the engine. Maybe I'll just start randomly unlocking it. Hopefully he doesn't.
Hopefully, yeah, anyway, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Ford Pass is offered, as we know, by the Ford Motor Company and is available for both iOS and Android devices. It's one of several apps for connecting to Ford vehicles. The less than intuitive means for unpairing a vehicle and phone, not to mention the difficulty in knowing a device remains connected, represents a serious security and privacy risk, not to mention to renters, but to people buying a vehicle secondhand. Imagine you buy it, from CarMax or something, and don't know or particularly care that the previous owner still has access. While Ford said infotainment screens will indicate when a device is paired, it's obvious that multiple enterprise employees and renters. Okay, this is 6 months ago.
Yep.
Multiple enterprise employees and renters have continued to miss the warning. Even now, after the reporter of this discussed the problem with both enterprise and Ford representatives, Sinclair's access still has not been revoked. Sinclair said, "I've been opening the app and tracking the vehicle almost every day to see if my access is still there. And sure enough, I can see exactly where my old rental, affectionately named the Beast," he wrote, "is at any given moment. This means that I can not only find this rental car whenever I want, but I can also unlock the doors and help myself to anything that might be inside. Since proximity," and this is me thinking now, "since proximity to the infotainment system was required initially to complete the initial pairing, authorization, and authentication. And since occasional proximity would be an expected characteristic for any actual car owner, it would seem to me that a useful security trade-off would be to have a device be forgotten if it hasn't been within physical proximity of the vehicle's infotainment system for, I don't know, a week or two? I mean, it sounds like repairing isn't that burdensome. And, a car owner, they're going to be in their car every day.
Right.
Or, maybe they only drive it on the weekends. Okay, so make it 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, forget the thing. Or maybe after 1 week, flash a warning and say, this device has not been near the car for the last week. Please confirm you want to keep it paired. So make it an affirmative statement of pairing endurance. And if you don't do that, it unpairs. I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, I'm curious about this Ford Pass thing, because this actually reminds me of like a question I've had when I do rent a car and they have the infotainment system and I want to play my music through the Bluetooth. So that requires pairing. So then as a renter, you end up pairing to this thing, and maybe you choose not to share your contacts with the system. I usually don't do that. Don't share the contacts because that seems like a really bad idea. But I'm sure a lot of people just say, yeah, whatever, connect it, and then they don't think to remove it. So, I mean, and I guess there should be some sort of mode in these things for rental car agencies for them to, on their turnaround. Because even what you're talking about, Steve, if somebody rents it the very next day, that still doesn't prevent this other third party from locking the door or turning off the vehicle at the wrong time or whatever. It's a liability. There needs to be some easy way for them to be able to deactivate that if that doesn't exist already. Maybe it does, and they're just not using it. I don't know.
Well, or in the rental mode, it would be reasonable to turn down the forget the device delay to 1 day.
Right.
Because, anyone who's renting a car is in it, a lot. Yep. So, and if not, boo-hoo, if your device, I mean, besides, who wants to unlock their doors remotely? I mean, okay, maybe. Who wants to start the engine remotely?
Maybe
okay.
It's cold outside. I can understand that one, maybe.
These are all like gee whiz doohickey,
Yeah.
I have it
not
because I'm on the internet,
Right.
My car is an IoT. Well, we already know what a bad idea that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting that it's taken this long and still nothing.
Wow.
Just seems like the wires are crossed on that one, because I would imagine if the right person at Ford knew of that.
The wires are short circuited, Jason. There's no question.